So I'm working on cleaning this top of the block up, and we're getting in a lot better shape here. I've scraped and just lightly wire wheeled at this, and everything's all cleaned up, and even the pistons shined up pretty good. So everything's looking good here. Over here, I found, I'm not sure if, yeah, you can just see it in the camera. Right in this little area, there was a little glob of what I'm pretty certain was RTV. And over here on this manifold, you'll see there's a little spot right there, if I can get the lighting right. It's like a squishy, like caulk. RTV caulk has a lot of purposes, but sealing up head gaskets and manifolds isn't one of them. I have a feeling that might be what happened here. This thing may have just had a really bad head gasket job done on it. Or maybe it was like a rebuild, because I can't find any signs of like heavy use on this block. Like all around these valves, they're not eat out or anything. That's a big thing on these flatheads. They'll kind of start to eat out this block if they've got a lot of time on them. All the valve ports look good, which is a great sign. Everything around the cylinders looks good. All the liners look good. So this almost looks like a bad rebuild. Like maybe they used RTV or something on this gasket and it blew out, and that's what the problem was all along. I didn't film it too good on the inside of the block, so I'm working on this head. Now, as you can see, this one's cleaned up. I still got to do a little bit in these corners here, just where my wire wheel couldn't get. But look how caked up the carbon is on this thing. I mean, it's just, and it was like this on the inside of the pistons too. But I found RTV. I'm pretty certain that's what it was. It's like a caulk. And if that's what they used to seal up this along with that head gasket, then yeah, that's probably why it blew out. And the fact that I'm seeing it on this manifold down in here just kind of backs that up even more. They probably kind of did like a little rebuild on it and just used the wrong sealant for that kind of job. So that gives me a little bit of hope that this probably isn't as bad as I thought it was. The kit that I ordered comes with a head gasket, and it also comes with the manifold. It's kind of like an upper block gasket kit. So I'm probably going to just go ahead and do the safe thing and take this manifold out. So on this side, there's a little bit of carbon showing up. I couldn't feel an exhaust leak or anything all the times I've run this, but I'm seeing carbon show up, which means it's already leaking. And then in there, that stud is missing the nut. So probably while we're here and torn down like this, might as well just go ahead and do this too. Definitely didn't want to get this involved with it, but it's whatever. Probably the next thing we'll be doing is slapping a head gasket in there and torquing her down. So I've got the manifold off, and I was completely wrong about the Ultra Black. It is even worse. This is clear silicone. Try and get that so you can see it. That is definitely not like a high temp caulk or adhesive that you should use. So this is just totally the wrong material for, and you can see where that's caulk, or that's where it's burned it up. But yeah, they basically used a clear silicone to try and seal up this gasket, which is not the right material at all for that. So I have no regrets about pulling this off and doing this. It kind of makes me scared what else might be going on like deeper down in the engine if they did a full rebuild. Using the wrong adhesive on these gaskets, I can kind of see that being like maybe an amateur mistake or something. So I'm still waiting on the gaskets, but we're gonna get her put back together the way she should be. All right, so we're really getting into it now. So head, or the top of the block's cleaned up. The head is cleaned up. The manifold here is all cleaned up. And I've got the old manifold cleaned up. It's definitely going to be reusable. Went ahead and popped these off because I wanted to just, while we've got it here and the manifold out of the way, I wanted to check the valve adjustments. And that's when I was looking online at how to do it. And so your springs for your valves are directional. And this, see how the coils are a little more bunched up at the bottom here? That bunched up side is supposed to be at the top. And then another thing I caught as soon as I popped one of these out, these don't even have the O-ring in it that seal them. And so I've popped all the valves out, and you can see absolutely none of them have the O-ring that is there to seal up the valve guides. So how it was running as good as it was, I do not know. But yeah, this thing just keeps getting scarier and scarier. The more I dive into it, I just keep finding more and more and more. So I am officially saying that this is somebody's amateur engine build. That's all I can say. Who knows what else could be going on inside this motor. So I think I am going to stop right here though. I think I'm just going to go ahead, get the gaskets for these valves, put the valves back in, get the head straight, and we're just going to hope and pray that there isn't any more halfway done jobs inside this motor. I'm really hoping that, I mean, there really isn't that much left here. I mean, other than the crank and the pistons, there really isn't much more going on. Since the crank seals aren't leaking on either end, I'm just going to hope and pray that there's nothing else going on inside of that motor, because it wasn't making any other kind of noises or anything. It was actually running really well for what all I found so far. So hopefully this was just like an in-frame rebuild or something. I don't know, but we're just going to stop right there. We're going to get our head gasket straight. We're going to get our valves straight, and we're going to see if that can cure whatever problems we had. I've also got the governor is off, and I'm going to tear into that and see what exactly needs to be done with it. The linkage arms definitely have a lot of play and stuff side to side, so I want to see if I can tighten that up maybe and figure out why that thing isn't quite working right. The throttle on this thing, between there's where idle is, from about there to there, you don't have anything. Doing that will not change the RPM of this engine. Now from there to there, you can change the RPM. There is, so that thing is horribly out of adjustment, or maybe something might be wrong inside of it. Who knows? But for right now, basically I'm waiting for the gaskets to show up, and then we'll go from there. So things are going from bad to even worse. This isn't too scary. I vacuumed out all the junk and stuff that was in the bottom there. I'm just doing some adjustments in there because it would lift the 3-point arms up about halfway and then stop, which I think was an adjustment. But you're about to see that there's been some major changes on this end. I am going to have to end up doing a full-on engine rebuild. That's just all there is to it. I think I talked in the last clip about the valves. Some of the springs were upside down. Nothing's wrong with the manifold deck. Nothing's wrong with the top of the block where the gasket rides. The issue that I found, the new issue, is that these cylinder liners are cracked. There's a crack right there, and it's on 3 of them. This one isn't bad. It's starting on this side. This is probably the worst one. It goes pretty much all the way around the top. On this one, you can see it some over here on the left. On this side, it's not cracked, and the number 1 cylinder doesn't show any signs of cracking yet. But I've got 3 bad cylinder liners, and at this point, I'm so deep into it that, you know what, let's just go ahead and do it. The engine rebuild kit is not that much for these tractors. It's, you know, there's no point in going this far and then throwing it all back together and hoping and praying for the best. At this point, you might as well just go all the way. Make sure that that motor is 100%, because clearly there's been a bad rebuild of some sort done here. I'm very much convinced this was a rebuild just going horribly wrong. So I've done the somewhat right thing. I went to Harbor Freight today. I've got an engine stand. I'm going to assemble that. And we're going to pop our engine off, get her on the stand, spin her around, knock her apart, get the liners out of her, and I'm just going to go for a full-on engine rebuild. I've gone this far, and at this point you might as well just go all the way. Another thing, because I was having questions about the valve timing, although I'm pretty sure the valve time or the cam timing is right. I know you can't see that real well with the light, but some of this timing gear here, something was hitting the gears. I'm not sure if it's where this bolt, I did check it with the governor. This bolt is not too long, but it is right in line with where that gear would be. So I'm not sure if that's where somebody put the wrong size bolt in there at one point. I have no idea. At this point, like I said, you might as well just send it home. Just go all the way, do the rebuild, do it right from the ground up, and that's what I'm going to do. So I haven't ordered the kit yet. I want to get everything knocked out of the block and mainly make sure that the block is savable. Who knows, there could be something even worse inside. So mission right now is to get this motor off. I was having some problems with the clutch, so this really isn't, either way this motor was going to have to come off. The clutch was doing a weird thing. When you press the clutch, if you're in gear, the tractor will keep going for a while. It'll keep going, and then all of a sudden it'll like disengage. So either the clutch plate is sticking, the pressure plate has an issue, something's going on inside there. So while I've got her open, we're going to do a clutch. The ring gear definitely is kind of got some shady spots on it. Might as well do a ring gear. And this will also give us a direct look at the auxiliary transmission in there. There's no way to drain it, really, and judging by the rest of the oil that was in this thing, I really want to drain that auxiliary. So at this point, motor's coming off, it's going on the stand. You'll get to see all that. I'll film knocking the liners out of it and rebuilding it. And yeah, bit of a turn for the worst, but we'll get her straight.